This is my community life. Every episode is a snapshot into what it's like to really live at Braziers. Today I decided to bake German bread, and I ended up cooking for the community at the same time. We learn a little bit about how day-to-day life is structured through this, as I race the clock to cook and break bread and get to grips with the Braziers dough machine all at the same time. And you get to meet some of my friends who live at Braziers too. So I've wanted to bake German bread for a long time because in my opinion it is really tasty, and my friend Florian has just baked some and he's shown us how to do it in a video, and so I've copied out that it's in German, the ingredients list, and I've got it down on my notes in English. So let's find out whether we have the ingredients, and if you want to check out the full video of how he did it, I will link it up there. So this is the community kitchen. It's looking very organised compared to last time I cooked in it, so that's pretty cool. But it does mean now I've got to look for everything. So I've already found, we have yeast, that's good. Water, yeah, we definitely got that. Buttermilk, that's the one I'm a little bit stuck on. I don't know where exactly buttermilk, and I'm not even sure what buttermilk is exactly. So we'll come back to that later, but let's go and see if we've got all the flours. So we've got spelt, whole wheat flour, salt and seeds and nuts. It's actually quite simple, so hopefully we've got everything else. So in here, this is the larder. Everything's really nicely organised, written down. We've got muesli, pasta, brown rice, red lentils, whole wheat bread flour, strong white bread flour, plain white flour. We needed whole wheat flour, didn't we? We've got self-raising flour, gluten-free flour, white sugar, and oats. Okay, so possibly not any of the flours that I wanted. I've just spotted, it's a little bit difficult to see, spelt. So hopefully inside there is some spelt. I was focusing so hard on filming that I didn't actually listen to what I was saying. Organic, strong, wholemeal bread flour. I do love the shutters in this kitchen. Old wooden ones. Good morning. So if I'm going to cook in the kitchen, I have to negotiate with the cook. It is going to be a community thing, not just for personal, so hopefully it'll be right, but let's have a look. This was yesterday because they haven't had their meeting yet. If we look, Monday, nobody there yet, so who knows who's going to cook. So we just didn't have the morning meeting, and it has been decided that I will be cooking lunch, so I get to choose that I get to break bread. Yeah, and today, Monday, so we have a little star, which the star means that person does the proper meal, and then the other meals are put out meals, so that means that you put out leftovers. So my job should be fairly straightforward. So we're on Monday. If we go down, Monday lunchtime, it says we have 23 people. Okay, so a slight problem from what I thought I was going to do, because my plan was basically going to bake bread, that's going to be great for lunch, and then I'll just put the leftovers and maybe a little bit more. I just watched the video, and he's saying you have to rise it for 24 hours, and I do remember when I was there, him telling me that the rising is important to give that time. So we're going to have to change our plans. I'm going to bake the bread, but I've also, most importantly, got to find something else to make sure that everybody gets enough food for lunch. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. So first we're going to check in the fridge to see what leftovers we actually have. So it seems like we've got a soup. That'll be good. We've got a nice nut roast which has been defrosted, so that's good. Definitely put that in there. I am going to put it back in the fridge once I've checked it out so it stays fresh. Not much in there. Again, really barely anything in there. Some jacket potatoes, yep. Some kale, but really not much for 23 people, so. Whew. is lovely to get into this lovely garden, even though I'm a little bit stressed now by the change of plan. But thankfully we've got some lovely kale, so I'm going to harvest that and put it with some garlic. And unfortunately they'll have to have sliced bread, the stuff that comes out of the freezer, but needs must. I just take the bottom leaves, like that is a good one. Oop. Sometimes you'll find ones that really aren't any good to eat, like that one, but it's good to remove those as well and just pop them in the compost and keep things nice and tidy down below. Sort of gives the slugs less places to hide. Well, I must say a big thumbs up to the gardeners of Braziers, because the kale is amazing. There's loads more still on the plant, and that hopefully that'll be enough for 23 people. But if we look at the clock, we have 2 hours. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to be doing. It's all making it up on as we go, and hopefully everybody will get a nice meal, and we'll make some dough for some bread. That's the plan. So we have this many potatoes to share between 23 people. That's not really going to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to chop them up and put them in the oven, and I'll have to think of something else to go with them. Are all organic vegetables, because normally, you pop it in the water and a load of insects come out. Can I find any insects? No. I mean, yes, there's a little bit of a leaf miner here, but really otherwise, yeah, pretty cool. Some lovely homegrown garlic. Now I love garlic, so I'm going to put quite a bit in here, and hopefully it won't be too much for everybody. Some people might not like it as much as I do. And I feel like I have to show you these garlics, because I have never worked with garlic quite so big before. At first I thought, oh, there must be that elephant garlic that doesn't taste very much, but I put a bit in my mouth. Ooh, it's got quite a kick. So yeah, it's brilliant. Much love to the gardeners. We've now got 45 minutes and everything seems to be under control. So we've got some kale sizzling in there. These bits I chopped up finely, the stem basically, because otherwise they get a bit stringy. And I gave them an extra time under the lid to get nice and juicy. Hopefully they'll be not too stringy. And then I've got, waiting in the wings, some sauce. It's just got garlic, sesame oil and tamari sauce, because tamari sauce is gluten-free. And that's going to go in. Some of it's going to go in, I think, and I'm going to leave some for those who really like the garlic and the tang. Yeah. And then I've also got in the oven, I've popped a nut roast in there that's going to, it's supposed to take 30 minutes, but the thing about the agar is that it takes, if you've got stuff going here and there, each one is draining the energy. So the temperature that it says on our handy little sheet, roasting oven, baking oven, so is will be lower. So I've got the potatoes in the roasting oven at the moment. Just see how crispy they can go. And then in the baking oven I've got the nut roast on the top. As I say, I've got this stuff. We do actually have another cooker, but that requires additional energy. I like to use the agar as much as possible because that's always on and it doesn't use any more energy. I checked the leftovers, 2 of them. So 2 of them were kale. So we've got a little bit of extra kale. But other than that, we've got the soup, we've got some croutons, I've grated up some cheese. It's a slapdash meal, doesn't really go, but sometimes that's what happens in community. And as I say, it's now 20 past 12, so I've got 40 minutes. That's enough time to make some bread, I think, so some dough anyway, make a start. And I looked up what buttermilk is. And apparently, traditionally, it was when you made butter, what was left over, the liquid that was left, that's called buttermilk. I don't know if we have any, I'm not going to search now. So instead, I looked up, and you can actually make it using normal milk, and then you add a tablespoon of vinegar or lemon juice. So I think I'm going to use some vinegar, and they said use vinegar that doesn't have much colour, like that's sunflower oil. I think we should hopefully have those oils. Malt vinegar. We'll use that if we can't find anything else, but I'm sure we've got some apple cider vinegar. Lemon juice. Okay, well, we'll use lemon juice because that was one of the options. Cool. So we're going to double the recipe. So where it says 200 millilitres of milk, we're going to use 400 millilitres of milk. So we've measured up roughly 400 millilitres, and then it's approximately 1 cup, which is just over 200 millilitres. 1 cup per 1 spoon. So we're going to double that to be 2 spoons, and it's about right. And I don't think it has to be perfectly accurate. Stir it quite a lot, stir it for a bit, and then wait for at least 5 minutes. And then it should start coagulating, obviously, because milk and acidic stuff does that. But that's what it's supposed to do. So we'll mix that up, and by the time we need to use it, it will have done its deed, and it will be hopefully just like buttermilk. As I say, we're doubling everything, so we need 400 grams of whole wheat flour, so we're going to get 800 grams of whole wheat flour, which, as I say, was in this tin here. Pop in the yeast. 10 grams of salt, and I do love this little salt dispenser so much that I'm going to use it, even though it's less convenient than other options. Just 10 grams, probably not that much. Well, the buttermilk hasn't done anything really. It just looks just like normal milk. I was expecting it to curdle, but it hasn't. So we'll give it a taste and see what it's like. Yep, I can taste the lemon juice in that. So yeah, hopefully that'll be good buttermilk. So apparently the reason that people use the buttermilk is because when you're doing sourdough, the baking soda that you use is alkaline, and then the acidity in the lemon juice will, or in the buttermilk in the past, will equal out the acidity. But we're not making sourdough. We're actually making yeast. We're using yeast, so it's just going to be normal bread. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Short interlude. You will note the time. It is now 5 minutes to 1 and dinner is served at 1, so I will have to pause my bread making while I get everything ready for everybody to eat. I'll ring the 10-minute bell. It's going to probably be about 5 minutes late. And there we go. I don't think I've forgotten anything. Right, there we go. I think it tastes better than it looks, hopefully. It's got these crispy bits. I really like them. They add a bit of flavour. And then also lots of garlic. I think the food's done, so I'm going to go and ring the gong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got a confession to make. I've never actually used this bread maker. That's because generally I don't like English bread much, so I never really wanted to make it. I do like German bread, so I've got a German bread recipe and hopefully it will work. I'm intrigued to know what changes, what makes it turn into that nice firm bread that you can hold like that and it will stay where it is, compared to the British bread. But we'll see. But one of the things that I was going to say is don't overfill the bread maker. And I did double the quantity, didn't I? Well, I was a bit worried, but actually it goes in fine. So I don't think we have to worry about having used too much flour in there. I got it to work, so it's mixing the flour now. I've added 400 millilitres of water, so that takes us up to 800, and now we're just going to add it. Goes. Anyway, let's have a look at how that does it. Tempted though I am to go in there and help it. I think actually this is how you're supposed to make bread, is just to slowly introduce the flour bit by bit. And it's certainly what I recall from my cooking lessons many years ago. So we'll leave it at that. And if it starts, it's looking good, maybe we'll add a little bit more water to it. Stop. I think we'll add the rest and hope that that should be. Quite sloppy now. We'll leave it to it then and see how it comes out. It does look like it does need a bit more liquid. It stopped. It does wobble around quite a bit. I don't know if it's... Oh, I know. I think I put this in the wrong way because there's a little knobble here, which hopefully is supposed to keep it... So we'll take it out and put it in the right way around. The knobble is now in the right place, so we have to raise it up. There we go. Close this, and hopefully now that'll carry on and won't wobble too much. Yeah, that's better. I think it looks pretty good to me, hopefully. It's not sticking to the sides. And it's not glooping. So hopefully that's all right. So we'll take it out and we'll leave it to prove for at least 24 hours. So the thing I'm really not sure how to do is get it off. It's properly stuck on there. Maybe it will just peel off. That looks fairly straightforward. Yeah, that actually works a lot easier than I thought it would. There we go. And now we'll just pop it in here. So I think it's too sticky. It's supposed to be a bit more floury than that, so I think, which is because we added the extra water. So we'll pop it back in. It's not too bad. Put the flour in and we'll give it a go. Off we go. So I'm just going to slowly add flour until hopefully it's alright. I didn't add very much water, so it's probably won't require too much flour. But I have that feeling this is not the way you're supposed to do it. look at that. It's like, it looks like an onion with like layers. Or even a wasp's nest. Have you ever seen a wasp's nest with all those layers around it? At the moment, and then it will morph again, I guess.
Bread's not going to sting me, is it?
The bread's not going to what?
Sting me.
Oh, but there might no the bread won't, but things might come out of the bread that will sting you.
Oh.
It has got lemon juice in it, so it's got a bit of a zing. Right, let's have a look at that. I think it will need a bit more time, but it is looking a bit more like what I think bread should look like, what dough should look like. What do you reckon, Simon? Are you good at bread making?
It looks like a pretty good dough to me. And no, totally not good, yeah.
Okay. So
yeah, it's a yes from me, but you know, no.
So well, 2 binds is always best than 1.
I mean, it's not sticking to the pan, is it?
Well, it wasn't before, but it was too sticky. Let's have a feel. So I'll press stop. I think it's too sticky to me. It's supposed to be slightly floury.
Oh, that's a shake.
Do I think that's too much? Let's find out. Hopefully that's all right.
So this is going to be, what kind of bread is this?
Hopefully it's going to be German bread.
Oh.
Because the instructions were given to me by Florian, who's German.
I see.
Yeah. And also it did look like German bread when it came out. Well, his bread did, so hopefully mine will too.
Is it quite dense bread? Is that German bread? Don't German?
Yeah, exactly. It's quite dense, and you can you can eat it
just as it is.
Yeah, you can hold it and it won't flop.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm going to add some nuts and stuff like that.
Seeds?
Seeds, yeah.
Nice. And some
love.
Some sausages in there.
Some sausages. That's an interesting idea.
Frankfurters. Just mixed in.
Shall we test how? See, I think that's still sticky. Are you good at making bread, Matt? No. Well, what do you think? Do you think it's ready, or do we need to add more flour? It looks pretty good to me. I really don't know. I just think it should be less sticky.
Matty, is das gut?
Das ist gut, ja. Das ist wunderbar.
I just think it needs a bit more flour.
Yeah, maybe a bit more flour.
Stick more in. And this is whole wheat.
Some of it is whole wheat flour, and there's also spelt in there.
Oh, okay.
So we'll take that out, and then we'll put a blanket on it now, and then leave that to rise above the agar where it's nice and warm. And the yeast hopefully will have a lovely time eating that. All the starches in the bread and make bubbles for us. Turns out leaving bread above the agar or like in a warm spot is a good idea if you're just doing it for 2 hours. But if you're going to do it for a whole load of time, like 24 hours, it would have been better for me to put it somewhere cooler. As it was, it got quite a crust on it, and I thought, oh dear, this bread is not going to be any good. But it still, once you put it back in the bread machine, it was fine. So I didn't need to worry. Right, have a taste. Tell me what you think of my bread.
Nutty German bread. Thanks, Heather. Mmm.
Genuine or just for the camera
Nutty, delicious. Mmm.
Good. I'm just saying the end's a bit crunchy, but you reckon a bit of butter and it'll be
Bit
alright.
of butter.
I didn't bring butter, but
Butter or honey and honey.
well, look. So with the bees, I wasn't here when they harvested the honey, but look what someone did for me. They've got some lovely honey, and they've written on there, "Save some for Heather." Isn't that cute? So I'm going to crack that open now. Would you mind filming? And I'm going to try that on my new bread, which I haven't baked bread for like literally years and years and years. So it's quite exciting. It's actually not too bad.
Mmm, it's tasty.
Oh, I like the nuts.
Fibrous.
Mm-hmm. And it's nice honey as well.
Mmm.
Yay!
Yay!
So I've left my bread while I'm at work. We'll see whether it's still there. Someone's decided they want to try toasting it. Why not?
Yeah, we didn't cut it very well. It looked more like geologic formations than bread. And that's nothing about the baker, it's about the...
I think all bread should be toasted. In the morning.
I think all toast should be breaded in the evening.
There's the circle of bread.